I'm trying to arrive into the situation that I'm now going to talk a bit before I was expecting, and I'm trying not to move away from the microphone. That's going to be difficult. So when I was preparing myself for this presentation, I was thinking of a friend of mine who told me that he really hates TED Talks because what can you say in 15 minutes about anything that's really important, and that things that the fact that we are trying to put important things into 15 minutes is just a symptom of our rushing world, and it's terrible. And when I was preparing, I also thought that I have so much to say. How can I do that in 15 minutes? And then I thought that actually it's a very good opportunity to me as well, that I can focus. What do I really want to tell you about developmental trauma? So I tried, and I'm gonna try to take you with me on a road of changing perspective. Can we change the perspective of how we are thinking about children and the psychological and mental problems of children? You see here my presentation, and the short definition for trauma is a normal response to an abnormal event. This is what I really want you to try to look at these situations from this perspective, that the things that are happening to us in our childhood are determining how we are going to act, how we are going to react to that thing in our adulthood. And however we tend to see children there is a world that's given, and children have problems or psychological difficulties, but actually in the world that they have grown up in, that's an adaptive, a normal response to those surroundings that they have experienced. So maybe it's not the children who's problematic, but the world that was around them when they have grown up. This is the only thing I want to say, but I am going to talk a bit longer, so maybe we get other points to this. Yeah, it's a bit. I'm trying to get a new. Maybe from here. Can you hear me like this? And I can also see my presentation. That helps. So what you need to know is that as we are gaining a bigger knowledge from evolutionary psychology and neurobiology, we understand that what is specific to humans is that our brain is shaped to belong, that our survival is possible because we tend to act as a group. We do it together. We haven't developed through evolution skills to run really fast or to have really big toes or whatever. We developed skills to be able to live together, cooperate, and support each other. So when a newborn human comes to this world, their brain is getting all the information, how I can belong to this group. What do I need to do to fit the best to those people that are serving my survival? And in the very beginning of our life, we are learning what is dangerous and what is safe. If the world around us is dangerous, then we are learning responses that we need to fight against this situation, or we need to get away as quickly as we can, or we just freeze down because we can't help it anyway. And these responses are stuck with us for the rest of our lives. But these are adaptive. This serves the goal that we fit into our community around us. And of course, in ancient ages, our human evolution takes around 190,000 years, from which the last 10,000 years is the one which looks a bit like our world now. The 190,000 years before that, we were hunting, gathering tribes, living together, usually one child and 4 adults trying to look after that child. If you think of a kindergarten group, it's quite a different ratio today. And all those 4 adults were there to protect that child who was very valuable to the tribe. So they were giving them all their attention. And the child hasn't only learned what is okay and what is not okay from the two parents that he or she has, but from a whole group of people. So very, very different and diverse skills and accepted behaviors and okay or not okay behaviors. Today it's a bit different. We are learning what is okay or what is shameful, what helps us to be part of the community or what excludes us from our parents. So their difficulties will shape our difficulties as well very quickly. And somehow our, what we call now in psychology, traumatic response is, would be nice to not to consider a disorder, but a reordering of reactions to the life that we got used to as a child. And can I change the slides? I will try.
It's not functioning.
Okay, then can you change the slide for me? Thank you. So what I will ask you to try to reconsider if that world, bad child, is an existing thing or not. Because there are very different types of adverse childhood experiences. This is a very wide field of research, so I'm not going to go very deep into this, but adverse childhood experience can be poverty, marginalized living circumstances, neglect from the parents, of course physical and sexual and social abuse. These are all experiences that are shaping the brain, the behavior of the child to sort of malfunctioning. But again, come with me in this perspective change, that's actually adaptive to the circumstances that are living in. And if you look at these symptoms, affect dysregulation, if I have problem with modulating my impulses, I would be happy to ask you to raise your hand if you have never had a problem with that you are angry too much or you are sad too much, but I'm not going to ask it. I'm also a bit shy to do that, and maybe you would be as well. But if you look at the other 5 symptoms, like altered self-perception, which includes guilt, shame, feeling too responsible for situations, or difficulties in relationships, difficulties in keeping to and staying in healthy, intimate relationships, or somatic difficulties, when I have a stomach pain when I need to go to school, or I have a headache when I need to meet my boss. I think we all know these symptoms because we live in a world which created these responses, these reactions to difficult situations. And of course, hopelessness or not finding purpose, I think that our society really struggles with these problems. And again, if we go back to this question, if it's a symptom of a problematic behavior of a child or an adult, or if it's a symptom of a malfunctioning society or communities or families that are creating these behaviors, can we think of children as the victims of difficulties in their living situations and not as bad or misbehaving or children that need more principles or help from outside? They need help, but they need help because we have created a world that makes them growing up difficult. And this knowledge that psychology has today leads to trauma-conscious perspective. We would like institutes, people to be conscious about the fact that this is here, that a child in a classroom who can't pay attention to the teacher might not be able to pay attention because really alerted to all the social signs when she or he is going to be humiliated or punished or in danger. So that's an okay response if we think about his world, where the world around us is dangerous. Of course, from a teacher perspective, that's very difficult that she or he is not listening to me. But can we think that there is a reason behind these these behaviors, and can we try to understand it, and can we try to help with it instead of judging and putting labels on someone who is struggling with these problems. And my last slide, if we can change, brings it a bit to the legal world. I think law and legal system, we connect it very strongly with justice. So where is justice? Where is justice to us, to these children who are, I think, victims of their surroundings? And there are some very specific examples here. If we can, in the legal system, try to avoid re-traumatizing, if we meet children from, for example, in a divorce issue, can we avoid putting them into the trouble of not trusting them, not believing them, making them responsible for choosing between their parents? Can we avoid that the legal system puts an extra trauma on their shoulder? Then there is rehabilitation. If we think about the justice system to young, teenagers, does it really help them to get out of those circumstances that shaped their behaviors into this problematic criminal behavior? If we put them into groups of very similar youngsters where aggression is a tool to solve things, where anger is the proper emotion that is shaping everyone's behavior, or we need to create a safe and healing, trauma-conscious environment to them so they can change this for the time they turn out to be adults. And then there is secondary traumatization that is the problem of the professionals around them, lawyers, psychologists, social workers. Their stories are traumatizing to us as well. Let's not forget that. There are some researches that those professionals that work very closely with traumatized children will end up having severe traumatized symptoms. We don't notice that we are drinking a bit more in the evenings. We don't notice that we are trying to avoid our intimate relationships because we have too much anger, too much sadness inside us that we can't cope with. And of course, we don't want to put it on our husband or on our wife, on our friends, that I've been meeting these children today and it's terrific that's happening to them and it hurts me as well. So maybe just being aware of the fact that we need to look out for ourselves as well, and then be there and create a safe and trauma-conscious environment to those who need rehabilitation and healing. That can help a bunch of people, let's say. And the last slide I have is the thank you, and also the asking you to try to change your perspective as well and be conscious of trauma inside you and around you. And what I like to say is I like to think of raising children not as with the metaphor of pottery, where you are shaping the pot that you are creating, but as the metaphor of gardening, that we are putting water on some seeds that are growing out to be something that's surprising for us as well. Let's see what they grow into, if our goal is not to shape them, but to let them grow into what they are. So thank you very much for your attention.